I knew things were happening, but I never thought that would be me.
It was my honor to take care of her, and being there for her and knowing she loved me gave me strength.
As African Americans, you take care of your parents. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is what you do.
I assume you would want to meet that first Alzheimer's survivor.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Someone we just stopped it dead in their tracks and nothing ever happened.
The words you just heard, a powerful reminder about the reality of Alzheimer's. I'm Mike Montecalvo. Thank you for joining us for our latest 12 on 12 digital original, The War on Alzheimer's, The Battle Continues. You're about to see some emotional, heartbreaking, inspirational, and eye-opening stories about the battle and a fight for a cure. For me, the war is personal. My mother fought against this disease for 8 years before passing away in 2007. My father has dementia and struggles with the simplest tasks. This disease has altered not only my life, but the lives of my wife and 2 daughters, as we've become full-time caregivers for my dad. However, despite all this darkness, there is hope. There are 4 types of memory loss. Alzheimer's disease is just one of them. A Warwick man knows all too well how memory loss can rob you of the ones you love quickly. Patrick Maloney lost the love of his life of 35 years, his wife Susan, last year. But Susan's legacy lives on with the thousands of people she touched with one viral video. Patrick, how often do you watch this video?
I watch this one probably every 2 or 3 months. It's really hard to see.
A heartbreaking video that was viewed by thousands across the country. Patrick and Susan Maloney communicating through music in the darkness of dementia. Patrick decided to create this video with his late wife during the height of COVID, letting the world know despite Susan fighting frontal temporal dementia, people like Susan aren't alone and need love and care.
The last time Susan sang with me, or to me, we had just come back from her mom's house on Christmas Eve, and she hadn't talked for, or said anything in like 2 months. And I just wanted to take a moment to have some time with her, and I started singing Silent Night to her. And she sang along with me almost for the entire thing. Silent Night, Holy Night. She sang right along with me. And that was like a Christmas miracle. The last time Susan ever said anything to me was Valentine's Day, after the Christmas we sang Silent Night. And I must have told her 100 times that I loved her, over and over again throughout the day. And at the end of the night, I tucked her into bed. I laid her down, I kneeled down next to her, and I remember whispering into her ear, I love you so much. And she looked at me, and she hadn't talked in months. And she said to me, I love you. No, she said it like this, I love you. I love you. And she said it twice.
FTD is a rare neurodegenerative disease that causes nerve cells in the brain to lose their ability to function over time. It can result in changes to a person's behavior and personality, as well as impair their verbal and physical abilities. Patrick says it was a battle his wife fought and won every day for 7 years. Susan passed away on January 23rd, 2022. She was only 50.
Being a caregiver is rough, isn't it?
Yeah. You put your whole heart and soul into building something. And we'd been together at that point 33, 34 years, 30 years when she got sick. She put a lot of love and care into taking care of our whole family for all that time. I wanted to make sure she knew I was there for her. It was my honor. It was my honor to take care of her.
Was there ever a day that you said to yourself, I can't do this anymore?
There were times where it was frustrating. There were times where I was exhausted. There were times where I said, how can I keep doing this? But I don't think there was a time that I said I couldn't do it. No, there really wasn't. It's just, how do I keep going? And I will tell you that I got down on my knees in that kitchen And I said, to God, give me strength, and please help me get through this. It was hard taking care of Susan each day.
Patrick and Susan's story touching the hearts of people they did not know. The Warwick family receiving cards and letters from people across the country who followed their story on Facebook.
This is for Susan for her birthday. So, with sincere good wishes and a song in my heart, happy birthday. God's blessings on you today and always. But this is a person, Mary Alderman, and she's in Michigan. And it says, Susan, wishing you sunshine and rainbows with much love, Mary Alderman. And oh look, she gave this little thing here. It's like you holds the page and it's got a little cross on it.
What would she ask you now?
She'd ask me to keep going. She'd tell me everything was okay, even if it wasn't. To take care of myself. That's what she would do. She would tell me to take care of myself. And it's really hard. When you lose somebody that means so much to you, you don't realize what you're really losing. It's your whole life. So, she would tell me not to give up, and that she'll be there waiting for me someday, but today's not that day.
Alzheimer's is a memory-robbing disease that affects all genders and ages. Someone in the U.S. is diagnosed with Alzheimer's every 60 seconds. But one Coventry woman is living proof the disease does not discriminate.
I was 49, yeah.
So you don't think that when you're that young?
No, you don't.
Kelly Lauder of Coventry was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's last year.
Are you scared?
Yeah. When the first time we were at Butler, my husband came with me, and it was devastating. It was like I never thought it would be me.
While Alzheimer's disease is mostly common with older adults, early onset affects people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Kelly is 49.
You had symptoms before you went to the doctor?
Yes. The things that I was worried about was losing my words. Everybody, you forget a word every now and then, but it was coming a lot faster. I was just scared. I didn't know what was going on.
So Kelly, what was your reaction when the doctor told you it was early onset Alzheimer's?
I was shocked. I had a few months earlier, I had cognitive testing done. I was insistent saying that the only problem is my language. That's all. And then when I went through the tests, I was like, oh no, there's something else wrong,
Kelly says her language problem is caused by aphasia, a disorder that affects how you communicate. It can impact your speech as well as the way you write and understand both spoken and written language.
Why are you talking to us?
Oh, because I want people to know, if you're feeling, even if you're in your 30s or 40s, if you're feeling changes, you need to talk to your doctor and push.
What's the most frustrating thing for you?
Writing. I can't spell for anything anymore.
Do you recognize everybody?
Yes.
You ever think there's going to be a time that I'm not going to recognize anybody?
Yeah, I just try to live day by day.
You don't think about that?
No, I don't. I know a long time, but you know, there's a lot of hope right now. I just want to live my life.
Kelly works as a scientist at URI who studies water and soils. She's also part of a big movement bringing volunteers together for the Walk to End Alzheimer's at Roger Williams Park. Her team raising $10,000 last year. Kelly values and cherishes every single day.
We just came off of Christmas. You ever look at things like that thinking, I'm gonna miss this, or I cherish this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to sink it all in, you know? Yeah, I try not to go down the what's gonna happen in the next 10 or, 5 years or that kind of stuff. I wanna just focus on what's going on and what's good.
Alzheimer's is called the caregiver's disease. An estimated 11 million people care for people with Alzheimer's in this country. Howard Jenkins essentially has two jobs. He's the pastor of the Bethel AME Church in Providence, and he's also a caregiver to his two parents who are living with Alzheimer's more than 500 miles away.
We welcome you to Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church in the great city of Providence, the great state of Rhode Island.
The journey through the world of Alzheimer's has been interesting.
Oh, you came from heaven.
It's been more than an 8-year trek for Howard Jenkins, the pastor of Bethel AME Church in Providence.
Oh, we love to sing your praises. We're so glad you're in our life.
My father has dementia, and so he's in the final stages of dementia. So I've seen his body and his mind deteriorate. My mother is the early stage of Alzheimer's.
Being in the driver's seat, not an easy ride, especially when it's someone you love.
Family was first, and he was committed to that, and so I learned a lot. Then you're making me think a lot that I never really reflected upon, and I get a little angry sometimes. My mom is the matriarch. She sort of keeps things together. I realize that as I get older. I've seen the progression of my parents and Alzheimer's, and I've seen them grow older in age, but I've also seen the wisdom in them. The wisdom of my mom saying, that's my husband, till death do us part, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Being a caregiver was never a question. Pastor Jenkins has been traveling to Portsmouth, Virginia the past 3 years, spending up to 10 days a month caring for his parents. It's also been a teachable moment. His daughter spending 2 weeks this month taking care of her grandparents.
As African Americans, you take care of your parents. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is what you do. But then you begin to understand and look at, how do I define quality of life? And so what I learned from my mom is that that's her husband, and she wants him to live as long as he possibly can.
Nor can we compare ourselves with someone else.
Pastor Jenkins says the church has to go beyond the walls to make sure the minority community is not left behind, especially in the wake of COVID.
It became important that I practice what I preach. So I never lashed out at God, but I said, you know what? There's a reason for everything. And I've learned that within this last year, that the journey that we're on is intentional.
Pastor Jenkins tells me trying to get the African American community to understand they can make a difference not just for today, but for the next generation isn't easy.
It's about taking care of ourselves physically and nutritionally. So what I like about the Pointer program is that that mistrust that we have with science, it's not about medication. It's about, okay, we want to monitor how you're eating, and we want to monitor how you are exercising, or if you are, and if that's a factor. And really trying to get the African American community to listen to that, but generationally, if we can make an impact on our Black and brown communities now in educating, what a profound difference that will make.
Pastor Jenkins says eating better and exercising more are two important ways of possibly combating this illness that has no cure.
It was really about what can I do to make the community and help the community be a little smarter in regards to making better decisions. This is what my dad went through. And so now with my mom going through, it's like I see the signs, I'm a little bit smarter. So me getting involved in the Pointer program wasn't about what I'm going through. It's really about how can I help my community. And that's what the church is here for.
As the war on Alzheimer's continues, a Rhode Island doctor is leading the fight. Dr. Stephen Salloway has one goal: to stop the disease in its tracks.
There's a lot going on, I'm happy to say.
Rhode Island is on the front line, joining the rest of the country in the war on Alzheimer's.
We've conducted more than 100 trials for Alzheimer's over the years, and we're excited that at least the last couple have had positive results, and the most recent one, the drug called lecanemab, had clearly positive results.
The Food and Drug Administration approving lecanemab in December, the second ever treatment for Alzheimer's disease. The drug intended to tackle the root of the disease and slow cognitive decline.
And now the new data, at least the one that has been released recently, shows that it lowers amyloid and seems to slow down memory loss. This study was for people with early Alzheimer's disease who are they're having memory trouble, but they're still functioning well, they're pretty independent. Anything that preserves independence and quality of life, I think if you ask a patient and a family, would they want that? Absolutely they would.
Dr. Stephen Salloway also says the lifestyle trial Pastor Jenkins is a part of, the Pointer study, could be key in reducing memory loss.
Exercise, Mediterranean diet, brain stimulation, training, and good heart health. Exercise, diet, brain training, and heart health to delay memory loss and improve memory.
Another study, a series of blood tests that focus on prevention and detect Alzheimer's early.
Just think how much easier it would be if someone can just go to their doctor, get a blood test rather than having a brain scan, which is a lot more expensive and harder to get.
Dr. Salloway says age is the biggest risk factor for developing Alzheimer's and dementia. Family history is second. The disease is complicated.
Two parts of the Alzheimer's problem are that many years, 10 to 15 to 20 years before memory loss, these plaques made of amyloid protein, these clumps in the brain, start to build up. And then that makes for an unhealthy environment, a toxic environment in the brain, which causes another protein called tau protein to form a tangle, another clump inside the nerve cell. And when those start forming, the nerve cells start to break down and their connections break down, and that's when we get the memory loss and the decline in daily functioning. So the goal here is to try to slow the whole process down and catch it early and see if we can remove the plaques.
The minority community has been hit hard by Alzheimer's.
So there's a higher rate of Alzheimer's among African Americans, among the Latinx community, but the participation rate in clinical research or even coming for care is lower in those communities. And so we need to find out, what causes memory loss in different communities, what their PET scans look like, what the blood tests look like, how they respond to medications, what side effects are, do they differ or not? And the only way we can do that is if people feel comfortable participating.
Despite the millions living with the disease, Dr. Salloway says we're making big strides as the battle continues.
My goal, and we're on the verge of it right now, everything we're talking about, was to bring Alzheimer's into the era of modern medicine. That we make an early and accurate diagnosis and we give people a chance to do something about it. That's what we do with heart disease, that's what we're doing now with cancer. It wasn't always that way with either of those. And we want to do the same for Alzheimer's, and we're really on the verge of that, so it's really exciting. And I'm so glad I can't say enough about what Rhode Island has done and the generosity and the dedication of our thousands of research volunteers that have come forward. It's really very inspiring.
I assume you would want to meet that first Alzheimer's survivor.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Someone we just stopped it dead in their tracks and nothing ever happened.
That would be our goal.
That would be awesome. I think it's doable.
We hope so. It has been said, quote, memory applies both to the power of remembering and to what is remembered, until one day when we live in a world without Alzheimer's. as the battle continues. For our executive producer, Jen Quinn, our chief videographer, John Villela, I'm Mike Montecalvo. Thank you for watching.